Welcome to the next episode of Cryptids and Critters. Today we're focusing on the Jersey Devil, and as you can see, we are missing a co-host. And we don't have the Chromebook up. Well, yes, we've run into some problems, and Richard should be back by next week. Or next episode, really. Well, let's get this underway. No way to... we don't really have time to dilly-dally. So, as I said before, we're covering the Jersey Devil. This is a little bit more of an unconventional cryptid. It's not an animal, so to speak. It has a legend around it. It is more of a mythos, American myth, which in general is just really cool to see that, yeah, people don't really think of America having myths, so to say, but you do have stories like Paul Bunyan, Johnny Appleseed, to name a few. The Jersey Devil's kind of along those lines. So, it's also known as the Leeds Devil, and yes, I've got the information I need pulled up on my phone. It's said to live or inhabit the pine barrens of South Jersey. So, around that area, which, if I actually remember correctly, is almost a marsh at points. Yeah. A real cold marsh. I don't get it why people live in Jersey. But it's often described as a flying biped with hooves. There's many variations. Kangaroo-like or wyvern-like creature, or with a horse or goat-like head. Leathery bat-like wings, horns, small arms with clawed hands. Cloven hooves, a forked or pointed tail, which has been reported to move quickly, as it's often described emitting high-pitched, blood-curdling screams. It sounds like a dragon. I'm just going to get that out of the way. But it is the Jersey Devil, which, to be honest, I think there is a sports team named after it. I'll have to look. Mm-hmm. Hold on, just give me one second. Yes, and 2 professional ice hockey teams have the name the Jersey Devils. Well, let's be honest, the Jersey Devil is a really cool cryptid because it actually has a point of origin. So, there is another one that's, I think it's much older, called Imsing, by the Lenape people who originally populated the Pine Barrens, believed a deer-like creature with leathery wings. But that's not really the origin of the story, but it actually does have an origin, being Mother Lee's 13th child. And lucky number 13 strikes again. Mm-hmm. According to popular folklore, the Jersey Devil originated with the Pine Barrens resident named Jane Leeds, known as Mother Leeds. The legend states that Mother Leeds had 12 children, and discovering she was pregnant with the 13th, for the 13th time, she cursed the child in frustration, declaring the child would be the devil. That's... In 1735, Mother Leeds was in labor on a stormy night while her friends gathered around. Born as a normal child, the 13th child transformed into a creature with hooves, a goat's head, bat wings, and a forked tail. Growling and screaming, the child beat everyone with its tail before flying up through the chimney, heading into the pines. Some versions of the tale state that Mother Leeds was supposedly a witch and the child's father was the devil himself. Or some versions state the local so basically, some legends state that local clergyman attempted an exorcism on the Pine Barrens afterward. Leeds family. So there's a bunch of locations named after it. It's... So the story, the characters, right, aren't actually, they're based off real people, but not the Jersey Devil, not the whole birth thing and everything. No, so in real life, has been identified by some as the real life Deborah Leeds, on the grounds that Deborah Leeds' husband, Japhet? I'm butchering that name. Leeds named 12 children in the will he wrote during 1736. So this would be a year after. Really, 12 children in the 1700s? That's, well,
yeah.
I guess more hands on the farm.
Yeah,
free labor. We're not going to get into anything else with that.
Yeah, that's not.
So, it's funny because, So going into detail and reading up more about this, somehow Benjamin Franklin's involved. One of our founding fathers. And who was a rival publisher to Daniel Leeds. And the story of the Leeds that resulted in the Leeds family being described as monsters. Daniel Leeds was negatively described as Leeds Devil rather than the actual creature later created in legends of the Jersey Devil. So this all may have started by him being the 13th child and being in conflict with a person in power. Yeah. Oh, okay. Daniel Leeds' third wife, let that sink in, had given birth to 9 children. A large number of children even for the time. Second wife and first daughter had both died during childbirth. Leeds and his family were prominent in South New Jersey and the Pine Barrens. As well, English Quakers. So as you can see, I think a lot of it was, it got bad. It got real bad because it started going into anti-religious and anti-all this, or some versions of stuff, and yeah, it was all against each other. So the Jersey Devil itself is a really cool story and legend, but the stuff surrounding it, it gets dark. Not dark, it just gets dirty. So I gotta change my opinion on the cryptid though. So basically it all just kind of originated from the Leeds Devil. But Daniel Leeds he had it out for people. From what I'm reading, it seems like that. And he'd use his publishing company to do that. So yeah. And scrolling through more. So there are reported sightings all the way from 1820. You know, I don't not believe that. Because if you gotta think, America was at the start, even now, kind of very big Christian country. Yeah. It's not the biggest, and you do have freedom of choice. but there's a lot of Christians in it. So reporting sights of the devil, doing all that, I can imagine. Mm-hmm. And maybe not even the ones in 1820 were related to the Jersey Devil. It's just kind of gotten lumped in there in the time since. One said an unidentified. So one was oh my God. So this also goes to show in 1925, a farmer shot an unidentified animal that was stealing chickens. It had red eyes. And it claimed to be matching the devil's appearance. They offered a $10,000 reward. This is in 1925. Well, no. No. We go forward. So, specific dates was the one in 1925 where it was unnamed animal, no one knows. In 1937, there was one with a creature with red eyes. In 1937 again, the next day, so this was on July 27th, the next one was July 28th, was reported to, so that one was, I think, the same one. But in 1951, one just matching the devil's description showed up. There was something in 1957 and one in 1960. And I think after that point, there's a $10,000 reward to find the devil. Yeah, you can see how this spiraled out of control real fast.
Yeah.
So there's a wave of sightings from January 16th to January 23rd in 1909. And that's when the Philadelphia Zoo put the $10,000 reward. How is a zoo able to put a $10,000 reward when most zookeepers really don't get paid that much?
Yeah.
Yeah, $60,000 a year. Let that sink in with current inflation. Not very good.
Yeah.
Especially for what they have to deal with. So it's kind of a boogeyman, and for the description and explanation, but the Barrens was kind of a mix of outcasts. So there was poor farmers, fugitives. I don't know what that one is. Belligerents? I don't know. Native Americans, poachers, moonshiners, runaway slaves, and deserting soldiers, so-called Pineys. So it was a community of not really a community. I don't think it would be a community. But it didn't get a good rap. So the Jersey, it's rough. People saying it's sandhill cranes and stuff. Yeah, I get it. Or it's most likely hoaxes. Let's be real. But yeah. So I'm gotta keep this fast, and it's gonna be a fast episode. So what do you think of it? What do you think of the Jersey Devil and the backstory behind it?
It seems kind of out there, even when we're dealing with cryptids. It still seems pretty far. But
yeah, it was messy. From what I'm reading, it's messy.
Yeah.
Because it seems like the actual origination of the Leeds Devil was to make fun of or target somebody else.
Yeah.
Because they were your rival. I get it. But now it spawned something else, and then people are making massive hysteria about the Jersey Devil. It's a cool story, I get it.
Yeah.
I'll give it that. It's a cool looking thing. It's not real, I know that. But God, people need to settle down. Especially it's. And here's something I do have a problem with. They're blaming it for killing livestock. Most creatures that have gone extinct like that, I know the Jersey Devil isn't something, I'm going on a bit of a tangent. It's dogs.
Yeah.
Thylacines got shafted by dogs because of that. Or thylacine, I mean the Tasmanian tiger. They can't kill a sheep, dogs can. Poor management and dogs getting to sheep said, well, those things are doing it, the dogs aren't. Most dogs probably outweighed the Tasmanian tiger. They weren't big. They had weak bite forces. They couldn't even kill a sheep if they wanted to. A sheep. A creature that would rather lay down and die. Yeah, I don't get it when people say, well, the sheep are going missing, the sheep are doing this. I get it, some sheep are hardy, but not a lot. They will struggle for a bit and then not really just flop over and die, but they'll lay down and die. Way before anything else. A goat will fight, a pig will fight, a cow will fight, heck, even a chicken will. A sheep would rather lay down and die. So when someone does bring up that, well, they're taking my sheep, legitimately almost anything could. There are a few things that could. So I do have a big problem with people saying, well, it's taking my sheep. Well, maybe look at what's in the area and not say it's a cryptid or a creature that doesn't really think that you, like it could be, but then there's also this other creature that's way bolder, way more aggressive, and has the capability of doing it in the area. Yeah, it's just a mess. That's like saying a wolf is taking my sheep when the wolf is the rarer species around, and then coyotes are right there. Coyotes are bold. They don't really care about humans most of the time. So it probably was a coyote taking this dude's sheep, not the Jersey Devil. But yeah, that's about it for this episode. Yeah, I told you it wasn't going to be long. Next week we should have the Wendigo, and then we're out in North America. I don't know. Richard should be back. I hope we can get Chromebooks running because it's much easier to use. But we might not, and we might have to use the phone. So this might be a permanent change. We should be getting the cover back soon, though. Anyway, thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in. For the relatively little people that tune in, if you made it this far, thank you. And see y'all in the next one.